morning, Jets fans. This is GreenBean coming to you live from the middle of the woods in Central Virginia to bring you one more what if video before we hit the draft. We're almost done, guys, I promise. It's almost here, but I wanted to share with you some conversations that I have been in this past 3 or 4 days or so. So I'm gonna bring you three, count them, three. Yeah! I'm gonna give you three potential scenarios that are on the unlikelier side of things, but are still possible per the individual I was talking to. Now, the first one I'd like to bring up to your attention is this, and then what you can do in the comments, you can let me know how unrealistic each one is or realistic, and then you can tell me if they were to happen, how you'd feel, and what do you think should be done about it. Again, these are what if scenarios. I know some people out there, they don't even like to entertain anything but what is in their minds real. Facts. I get it. I'm not that way. I like to think about every possible scenario, and the thing is, a lot of people talk to me about different things, and I always like to consider things rather than say, oh, that's nuts, get out of here. I don't do that. So I like to say, okay, that's interesting. Let me think about that. How would I feel if that were to happen? So here's one. The first one, and I was told that this particular scenario would be the most likely out of the three I'm going to present to you, but still is probably unlikely. The idea is trading Marcus Maye in the second round for a second round pick, straight up. So there have been some whispers that the Jets would consider moving on from Marcus Maye. Now, before everybody jumps around and says one thing or the other, I want to recall and remind you of a particular scenario that a lot of Jets fans were very upset about, which is when we knew we weren't going to be able to re-sign Robbie Anderson. A lot of people thought that, hey, if you could get a sixth for Robbie Anderson, you take it if you have a good idea that he's going to be leaving. You get something for a player that you developed rather than just letting him walk. Now, the idea of letting Marcus Maye walk at the end of this year is that maybe he could net a comp pick. Don't forget, there's a whole formula. It's not guaranteed. If we sign more free agents than we let go, then there is no comp pick. So essentially, if you don't have any plans to re-sign Marcus Maye, like if you're already looking to replace him, bringing in another safety, we already have Ashton Davis, who we drafted last year. We have LaMarcus Joyner as a hold the fort kind of guy. I think Arthur Mollett is still out there and he can play safety. I think Farley was signed, but there are guys all over the place, and we have 10 picks in this draft, and we can certainly use one on a safety. There's a couple really good ones that I happen to like in the mid to later rounds. Divine Diablo, Paris Ford, those types, they're out there. So the idea would be that if you could get a second round pick, which is what we spent getting Marcus Maye in the first place, but we've developed him for now his fifth. This will be his fifth season with the Jets. If you think that he's not going to be re-signed, even though he's a good player, if you have the opportunity to get even a third round pick, if you could get a third round pick for Marcus Maye and hit reset on the whole salary and have your safety for relatively cheap for the next 4 years, there is a logic there. There is a logic because, again, even if you took a third round pick for him, the idea of getting a comp pick, again, is not guaranteed. Sure, you might be able to, and then there's the whole idea that, don't forget, comp picks come at the end of any given round. So if Marcus Maye went somewhere and we did qualify for a comp pick, we're talking about the end of the third round when who knows where this other pick would be. But even better, I was told that the discussion was for a second round pick, which would be something you consider. What if that happened? How would you feel? Do you like Marcus Maye so much? Do you think you have ideas on re-signing him for a long 4-year contract? I like Marcus Maye. I have no interest in getting rid of him, but I do see the thought process here, so I wanted to bring that to you guys. The second scenario is this, and as I said, this is a little bit less likely than the Marcus Maye. They're all unlikely, to be sure, but possible nonetheless, and each one is going to get a little bit less possible, less likely as we go down the line here. So the second one is this. There are a lot of people in many circles that think that not only have the Jets received numerous offers for the second overall pick, that the offers are still coming in right now, and getting closer to draft day, they're probably going to increase as this heat, the hubbub for guys like Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and now you see Kellen Mond is rising up the charts here. So with a lot of stock rising, there are thoughts that these teams that are just on the outside, just outside of where they're going to be able to grab some of these guys, are going to be wanting to make that last desperate swing, that desperate jump to try to get up there and take the number 2 pick and grab whichever quarterback they want. Now, we know the San Francisco 49ers jumped up to 3, so they're pretty snug. But there are teams right behind them, whether it be, even the Panthers, quite frankly. I was told, keep an eye on the Panthers. I don't know. Maybe Sam Darnold is just a stopgap for a couple years and whatever. I don't know. But so the trade was this. The Detroit Lions getting up to number 2 by giving the Jets their 3rd round pick this year that they acquired in the Rams trade. So they acquired a 3rd round pick this year. They would get the number 7 overall pick. So you slide down from 2 to 7. So we get the number 7 pick, a 3rd round pick this year, a 1st next year, and a 1st in 2022. So that would be 3 firsts, a 3rd, and Jared Goff. Now, the reason we would want Jared Goff is because it would take the pressure off of taking quarterback with the number 2 pick. You can still grab one at 7. You can grab Mac Jones. You can grab Kyle Trask. You can grab Kellen Mond, maybe even Trey Lance. A lot of people have him mocked going down to like 15 with the Patriots or something like that. So the question is, would you take and basically assume that contract of Jared Goff for a year or two and have him in place when you have your 1st round quarterback sitting there for a year and or 2, and you gain 2 additional firsts and a 3rd round pick just to go back, and you still get Trey Lance? So think about it. So again, you move from 2 to 7, so you get pick 7, their 3rd round pick, their 1st round picks in the next 2 years, so that would give us 3 next year and 2 the following year, plus you get a holdover quarterback who, hey, maybe he could even be your long-term quarterback. I'm not particularly the greatest Jared Goff fan, but it does soften the blow, and it's something. Maybe you counter it and say, listen, you got to throw in a 2nd or something like that. So anyway, again, I was told it was unlikely, but I was told to keep an eye out for it. It's funny, I mentioned something like Detroit a while back, and everybody lost their shit. Lost their minds, they did. And again, I'm not here to tell you I think one thing or another. I'm just telling you the conversations that I'm having with particular people that just might know a thing or two more than myself and or you. So, not that you don't know stuff. I know you do. So the 3rd scenario, and from what I'm told, seems the most unlikely. But it is possible that the 49ers that we just talked about a few minutes ago might be all snug as a bug in a rug. The 49ers just might want Zach Wilson more than any other quarterback in this class. It's funny, there was a 49er podcast going on the other day. Our buddy Chris Bucco went over there and but gave him the business a little bit. But they were talking about Zach Wilson not really wanting to be a New York Jet, and because he didn't follow the Jets on social media, and that the Niners and the Jets already have an understanding. They have a little handshake deal. That's why they traded up to 3, because the Jets already told them, we're not going to draft Zach Wilson. You don't have to worry about it. Yeah, that sounds like Joe Douglas, doesn't it? Yeah. I'll tell you everything I got. So anyway, that the idea that they want Zach Wilson more than anybody else is where this is the foundation of this trade. So what they're talking about is giving us Warner, giving us pick number 3, giving us their 2nd this year, and giving us a 2nd next year, and Jimmy G. So here we go. We slide back 1 pick. We get 2 seconds, Jimmy G, Warner, and Jimmy G. Now, again, the purpose of this video is not to say I think it's happening. My question to you is, what if? What if this happens? And then you can slide right back and grab Justin Fields, you can grab Trey Lance, you can grab Mac Jones. So what would you do? That's the question. What if? What if you were watching the draft and it says the Jets are on the clock and then the big word trade comes on the board? And the trade is the Jets and 49ers swap picks. The Jets gain 2 firsts, a linebacker, starting quarterback, and 2 seconds or whatever. How would you feel? What would you do? And we get Justin Fields, and we get Trey Lance, whoever it is that they want. Who knows? They might like Justin Fields more in the first place. We don't know. I know everybody thinks we know, and we might. We have a good idea. We have some ideas, but I don't think we know anything. So anyway, it's an interesting one. What if the Jets are on the clock and it says trade, and you find out that the Jets are sliding back to pick number 7? We just gained 2 additional firsts, a third, and Jared Goff for that. And then we get Trey Lance out of it, you know what I mean? So, and the third one, obviously, how would you feel? What would you do if you found out the Jets were trading Marcus Maye day 2 for a 2nd or 3rd round pick, and then we use it on a young safety or what have you? How would you feel? So anyway, let me know in the comments. You don't have to yell at me. I didn't make these up. This is the conversations that I'm having. I hope you guys are having a good day. We're almost there, guys. I promise. This is going to be the last one. I can't even stomach putting any more of these out, so it's good. It's good. This is going to be the last one, but that all said, we're going to have a good draft season, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Go Jets.